Lou was difficult, Lou was cranky, and eventually he got just sick of the whole operation, and we moved on to public access, where we can't swear, we can't ask for money, we can't show nudity, but we're still having a good time, and we're doing it all in the name of Lou Maletta, who was generous enough to let us take the Gay USA name with us, with no charge on his part, no lawsuits, no nothing. Just, you want it? Great, go ahead. Now, Andy Hum wanted very much to be here. He's out of the country this week, and it was just a really unfortunate scheduling conflict. He would tell you 10 times as many stories. I've heard him talk about Lou in that getup in Las Vegas. He was in Mississippi dressed like that. and so shocking to everyone that they just couldn't even react. So Andy, I hope will have, he wrote a great obit for Gay City News. You can look it up there. We did a whole thing on Lou on the show, but he sent me a couple of lines that he just wanted me to read. And what Andy said was, in a community that supposedly celebrates individuality and being yourself.
Thank you. I first met Lou. He interviewed me a few times at events I was doing, fashion shows, with Boy David. Boy David always dressed as some girl, which was kind of interesting as I got to know Lou later. But I really met Lou when he and I were both modeling for David Minky's in a fashion show. And Lou reached out and he wrapped his arm around me and he pulled me towards him. And I'm the Baroness, people do not touch me. And I just really loved how he was able to break the boundaries, not just mine, but everybody's boundaries. I love the fact that I would go and see him at the studio a lot, and he had his great sense of humor, the Movable Feast, which he, I'm sure, told all of you as he wrote about on his little three-wheeled cart with his penis out. And I love when I would go over there and there would be like, lady coming, and everyone, I had to dash suddenly into the office, lest I see these boys, or probably more important that they might see me and all things would fail. But I love the fact that he was who he was. And I was thinking about this, how you don't see people on the street anymore in their leathers and their chaps and their harnesses, and you just don't see that. And that was a whole era for me. He also got David and I out of a jam once. We were at the anniversary for the Statue of Liberty at some ungodly hour in the morning, and we're there in full regalia, slaves on the strings, cracking bullwhips, and the bullwhips got taken away from us because apparently on federal land they are illegal. They're a dangerous weapon. I mean, they're a dangerous weapon anywhere, but apparently it's illegal there. So one of the whips, which is now coiled up and in a little case on my wall, was the one that Lou had given to David. And after they confiscated it, we called him and he put all the force of Gay Cable Network behind it, which I don't know how much force that was, but anyway, we got the whip back. It wasn't going to be burnt, which was hugely pleasing for me. The other thing, though, which is more about Luke than, I guess it's a bit about Luke. We would go out a lot at night to 5, 6 in the morning, go to the Roxy, dressed in regalia, slaves on strings. We're going to the Roxy, and this is my first time meeting this man here, and he's going with us, and we're all in our black and silver and chains and all of this stuff, and he's got this white cardigan around his neck, and I just thought, man, these guys are so cool. And what was particularly cool was that he and Lou were together for so long, and they were so different, and so able to have that bond, which was just, I don't know, it's so difficult to be with someone for a long time, just in general. It must have been difficult as hell to deal with that lifestyle when you were like, you know, your sweater was clean, so I know you weren't there a lot. But he also, my last memory of Lou is just, he was at my Christmas party last year, wearing a green latex tank top that I made. And he walked in the door and I was just like, oh, I love this man. I love this man because he's still going at it. He's still somebody that we should be proud of, and yes, he never got the respect that he deserved from the gay community because of the sex and the drugs. What the fuck were they doing? Sex and drugs, and they didn't get respect? I've always felt that was a bad thing, but I mean, not sex and drugs, but the fact he didn't get the But I'm so glad, Luke. I mean, my heart goes out to you. And it's horrible to lose someone like that for so long. And you've always been special. They've always been special. The times have always been special. And it's good to see at least some of you here. I don't know why the room isn't full, because everybody should have known him in New York, or everybody should have heard about him, or everybody should have regretted that part of their life, or something, or should be honoring it. So, to Lou and to Luke.
I'll tell you all privately, I'm not going to tell you here. It was about one night after the Black Party. It involved a guy who was very young but legal, an animal tranquilizer, and Lou Maletta. Now, we have another person who was a gay cable personality, and I do have to say that this person always cracked me up whenever I saw her on the screen. I thought she was one of the funniest people I've ever seen, and so it's a real pleasure to say hello to Nora Burns.
Lou would be really bummed out tonight because it's a bunch of women speaking, and he would really much rather have some scantily clad boys up here. But I just want to say, I loved Lou, and seeing him always made me smile, whether it was at a march, a gay pride parade, a leather party, or asleep on a sling in the studio.
Lou, we always spoke like that to one another. And being that this is a celebration of his life, I want to sing an old Negro gospel, and I want you to be the chorus. So, for Lou, he's got the whole world in his hands. He's got the whole wide world in his hands. He's got the whole world in his hands. He's got the whole world in his hands. He's got Lou Maletta in his hands. He's got Lou Maletta. Everybody here. In his hands. He's got everybody here. In his hands. He's got everybody here. In his hands. He's got the whole world in his hands. Thank you very much. It's a pleasure of having you here too.
I have to say one thing briefly. A month ago, I was in Fort Lauderdale, and I ran into Slade Dale, believe it or not, in a bar. And he's living in Oklahoma. He's fine. His father passed away, and he's been dealing with the estate, but he's in great health. And so I'm sure he's here in spirit. So that's very cool.
Yeah. Me especially. And he was very kind and generous, and he was a great businessman. He didn't make much money, but he had a lot of fun. And when I met him, I couldn't understand what I was looking at, because he was dancing in a non-dancing bar, which was the Ramrod, which became infamous later on. And before I knew it, after talking to him, I was dancing too. And you know what? The dance never ended.
That's it. Thank everybody for coming. One thing is if you get the chance, Robert set up these photographs with microphones with Lou speaking, and it's really a trip, so if you get a chance, listen to some of them. So thank you all very much. Thank you very much.